Hey everybody, it's Big Bear over here. Um, man, I'm so grateful to YouTube, Rumble, and TikTok because it never occurred to me to put out videos out there. I like to write in my journal. I like to do a lot of writing and stuff, but for the longest time, I'm talking about I've had writer's block for, going on 4 years. I've had writer's block. I haven't been able to come up with anything. I've been trying to write and stuff, but they've been like 2.5 pages. That's not a lot of writing to me. And I'm hoping that making these videos will be a good alternative. I could I'm even thinking about putting my testimony out there. Anyway, right now I'm going to talk about how God has always kept me safe. God has always kept me safe. And when I was a little kid, I was a bad kid. I was a real bad kid. I had a friend. I used to live on this street called Casa de Oro in Corpus Christi. I'm from Corpus, and I still live in Corpus. And I used to live on the street called Casa de Oro. And I had a friend on the same street that we would throw water balloons at cars. We we would throw water balloons at cars and stuff, and that wasn't enough. Eventually, we started throwing rocks at cars. As I were driving by, we would throw rocks at cars. I told my dad this story, and I don't think he liked it too much. He didn't appreciate it. Why would he? I was throwing rocks at cars. But anyway, and usually as a little kid, when you start off bad, when you start doing bad things, it ensues a life of crime in the end, because it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. But not for me. I don't know if God was looking out for me and he said, okay, that's enough bad out of you or what. But I moved out. We moved out of that neighborhood, and I found some decent friends, and I stopped throwing rocks at cars. Of course, I grew up. I grew out of it, but God kept me safe. I could have gone to juvenile hall and all that stuff, but I didn't. And then I joined the Marines later on in life. I did get in trouble once. I got in trouble for theft. When I was young, I got in trouble for theft. Let's see what. I was around 18 or 19. I was around 19 years old. And I had a friend, me and a friend of mine, we would drive around a little community, a little town, a suburb of Corpus Christi called Annaville. And over there in Annaville, they would leave their garage doors open. It's like Mayberry over there. They would leave their garage doors open, and we would drive by looking what we could steal. And we would steal some of those things and go sell them at pawn shops. And we calculated it, and it was like working an $8 an hour job. Let's see, and I did get in trouble for that, but I didn't get in. It wasn't enough trouble to keep me out of the Marines. I joined the Marines, and I never saw combat. I never saw combat when I was in the Marines. I never saw action or nothing. So God kept me out of combat, and they had me diagnosed as having PTSD, but I don't think I have it. I never saw combat. I never saw the stressors of combat. I did go to Operation Iraqi Freedom, but I was in the rear. Anyway, God kept me safe all this time. The whole time I didn't know him. I didn't know God back then. I didn't know God when I was in the Marines. I didn't know God when I was stealing out of people's garages. I didn't know God when I was throwing rocks at cars. Um, People were praying for me when I was in the Marines, though. I had a whole church praying for me that I would stay out of combat. And look at me now. I stayed out of combat, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for everything God has done for me. And I don't like to listen to those who say, that they want to go to combat. They want to go over there with their brothers and stuff. The conditions are horrible. It takes a rare breed to want to be in those conditions. Those conditions are horrible. I would never want to be. I mean, if I was ready to do what I had to do if I had to go to combat, but I mean, no one wants to be there in those conditions. Yeah, that's just integrity. I mean, you sign up on the contract and you're willing to be a Marine, but it doesn't mean that you want to be in the front line. I don't know. I'm just grateful that God has kept me alive. God has kept me safe. That's all I'm saying. And I think about that. It's kind of scary. Because although I didn't know Him, although I was being worldly, doing worldly things, God still kept me alive. He still kept me safe. What separates me from the rest of the people who God doesn't keep safe, who God's not looking after. There's a lot of people who are doing bad, and that's it. Like I heard about this one kid who was 17 years old, and he was out and about where he wasn't supposed to be, and he got what, he got shot or stabbed? I think he got shot to death. It started off as a fight, and he was fighting for his life against several people. They finally shot him. 17 years old. He was doing things he shouldn't have been doing. Did he even give his life to Jesus? You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes me different from him? What? I was doing stuff like that too when I was younger. I was out and about, doing, smoking weed, selling weed and stuff. What makes me different from that 17-year-old that he died so young, and God has kept me safe? Yeah. I'm grateful though. Amen. Praise Jesus.